Hello and welcome on today's lecture of electromagnetic field theory and antenna. Today we will discuss the unit 3. Unit 3 comprises of introduction of transmission line, circuit representation of parallel plane transmission lines, transmission line with losses, characteristics impedance, propagation constant, attenuation constant, phase constant, reflection, reflection coefficient, expression for input impedance in terms of reflection coefficient, standing wave ratio, relation between SWR and reflection coefficient, location of voltage maxima and minima, impedance matching devices, principle of impedance matching devices and Smith's chart. So, all these topics we will discuss one by one. In today's lectures, we will cover introduction to transmission lines and circuit representation of parallel plane transmission lines. So, first we will discuss what is transmission lines. Transmission lines are used to transmit electric energy and signal from one place to another, specifically from source to load. Transmission lines are commonly used in power distribution at low frequencies and in communication at high frequencies. A transmission line basically consists of two or more parallel conductors used to connect a source to a load. So, these are the examples of typical transmission line. Typical transmission lines includes coaxial cable, a two-wire lines, a parallel plate or planar line, a wire above the conducting plane and a microstrips lines. So, you have already seen all these lines in your daily uses also. We use coaxial cable in the television. You connected your dish TV antenna with your television set with the help of coaxial cable. Whenever you perform any experiment in your lab, you used CRO. So, we connected CRO with the other instruments with the help of coaxial cable. Then we have a two-wire lines. We use two-wire lines in landline phones and other electrical circuits. We used parallel plate or planar lines in interdigited circuits, and in microstrips lines we used in computers and other electronic circuits to interconnected the chip and on the high frequency also. So, these are the examples of transmission lines. So, let us study the parameters of transmission line. It is customary and convenient to describe a transmission line in terms of its line parameters, which are its resistance per unit length R, inductance per unit length L and conductance per unit length G and capacitance per unit length C. The line parameters R, L, G and C are not discrete or lumped, but distributed as shown in this diagram. So, by this we mean that parameters are uniformly distributed along the entire length of the line. So, you can see here this is the series R and L circuits and these are shunt G and C. So, we know that due to finite conductivity of the material of the transmission line, some power dissipation takes place in the line. The resistance R is responsible for the total loss occurring in the line due to the excitation. Due to current flow along the line and due to its production of magnetic field, some magnetic energy is stored in the line. The inductor L is responsible for the total magnetic energy stored in the line. The two conductors of the lines are held at some potential difference. There is some electrical field and electrical energy. So, the capacitor C is responsible for the total electrical energy stored in the line. The medium between the two lines is in general lossy in nature. The conductance G is responsible for the total power dissipation taking place due to lossy nature of the dielectric between the two lines. So, we have 4 parameters: resistance per unit length, inductance per unit length L, conductance per unit length G, and capacitance per unit length C. So, let us study how an EM waves propagates through a 2 conductor transmission lines. So, I am taking one example. This is coaxial line and this is connected here with generator and here with the loads. So, consider the coaxial line connecting the generator or source to the load as shown in the figure. When switch S is closed, the inner conductor is made positive with respect to the outer one, so that the E field is radially outward as shown in the figure B. So, according to Ampere's law, the H field encircle the current carrying conductor. The pointing vector E cross H points along the transmission lines. So, thus closing the switch, when we close this switch, it establishes a disturbance which appears as a transverse electromagnetic wave propagating along the lines. So, here TEM waves means your magnetic field and your electric field is 0 in the direction of your propagation, that is your transverse electromagnetic field waves, TEM waves. So, this wave is a non-uniform plane wave and by means of its power is transmitted through the line. So, this is your field lines, generating field line inside your coaxial lines in diagram B. Transmission line equations. So, we have distributed parameters of transmission lines and we know how wave propagate along the transmission lines. Now, we will do the mathematical modeling of transmission line. Let us examine an incremental portion of length del z of a 2 conductor transmission line. We intend to find an equivalent circuit for this line and derive the line equations. The model in figure is in terms of the line parameters R, L, G and C and may represent any of the 2 conductor lines. The model is called the L type equivalent circuit. There are other possible types in the model. We assume that wave propagates along this plus z direction from the generator to the load. So, here I am taking the equivalent circuit of transmission line. So, in the direction of positive z. So, this is z and this is the incremental length z plus del z. Current is flowing in terms of z and t and this is R dot del z, L dot del z and this is conductance and capacitance. Here is the voltage difference and here is the input voltage. So, towards the generator. Now, by applying Kirchhoff's law in this loop, we obtain. So, according to Kirchhoff's laws, VZT equal to R into del Z and current is IZT. So, into IZT plus L dot del Z del IZT over del T plus VZ plus del Z T. Now, I am taking this to other side, here to the left side. So, I will get this equation Vz plus del Z T minus Vz T upon del Z equal to R I Z T plus L del I Z T over del T. Now, taking the limit of in equation 1, we know that del Z is a very small quantity. So, we can say that del Z is tends to 0. This will lead equation 1 in minus del V Z T over del Z equal to R I Z T plus L del I Z T over del T. Similarly, on applying Kirchhoff's current law to the main node of the circuit in figure gives I Z T equal to I Z plus del Z T plus delta I and now I am breaking this del I into, you can see here del I equal to G into del Z V Z plus del Z T plus C into delta Z del V Z plus del Z T over delta T. Again I am rearranging this equation. So, I will get this minus I Z plus del Z T minus I Z T over del Z equal to G V Z plus del Z T plus C del V Z plus delta Z T over del T. Now, del Z tends to 0. So, equation third becomes this minus del I Z T over del Z equal to G into V Z T plus C into del V Z T over del T. Now, we will assume the harmonic time independent, so that we know that V Z T equal to real V S Z into A j omega t, I Z T equal to real I S Z E j omega t, where V S Z and I S Z are the phasor form of V Z T and I Z T respectively. So, equation 5 becomes minus dVs over dz r plus j omega L into Is, and equation 6 becomes, I am taking the derivatives and phasor forms, minus dis over dz equal to G plus j omega c into Vs. In the differential equations 7 and 8, Vs and Is are coupled. So, to separate them, we take the second derivative and employ the equation 8 in equation 7. So, I am taking the second derivative of equation 7. So, this will be d square Vs over dz square equal to r plus j omega L into dis over dz. So, we have the value of dis over dz is G plus j omega c minus, this minus minus will become plus here. So, d square Vs over dz square equal to r plus j omega L plus G plus j omega c into Vs. Now, I am taking this quantity to this side. So, d square Vs over dz square minus gamma square Vs equal to 0. The value of gamma is gamma equal to alpha plus j beta equal to under root r plus j omega L into G plus j omega c. By taking the second derivatives of Is in equation 8 and employing in equation 7, we get d square Is over dz square minus gamma square Is equal to 0. So, this is in our usual notation. Gamma is the propagation constant in per meter, alpha is the attenuation constant in Nepers per meter or decibel per meters, and beta is the phase constant in radians per meters. The wavelength lambda and wave velocity mu are respectively given by this, lambda equal to 2 pi upon beta and mu equal to omega upon beta equal to f lambda. This is equation 13 and this is equation 14. Now, the solution of the linear homogeneous differential equation, we need to solve this linear equation, this equation 10 d square Vs over dz square minus gamma square into Vs equal to 0, and equation 11 d square Is upon dz square minus gamma square I square equal to 0. We need to solve this equation, and by solving these equations we get the solution Vz equal to V naught plus e to the power minus gamma z plus V naught minus into e to the power gamma z. So, this is in the positive z direction and this value is in along the negative z direction. Similarly, we are showing that Is z equal to I naught plus e to the power minus gamma z plus I naught minus e to the power gamma z. This quantity is along the plus z direction and this is along the minus z direction. So, here V naught plus, V naught minus, I naught plus and minus are wave amplitudes. The positive and negative sign respectively denote the wave traveling along positive z direction and negative dash z direction, as is also indicated by the arrows. I already told you this is positive z and this is negative z. So, thus we obtain the instantaneous expression for voltage as Vzt equal to real value of Vsz e to the power j omega t. Further, I am breaking this equation. V naught plus e to the power minus alpha z cos omega t minus beta z plus V naught minus e to the power alpha z cos omega t plus beta z. This is along the positive z direction and this is along the negative z direction. Alpha is the propagation attenuation constant and beta is the propagation constant. So, if I want to propagate my wave without any attenuation, it means alpha should be 0. If alpha is 0, that means your whole wave is transmitted. If beta is 0, beta is a propagation wave. So, if beta is 0, your whole wave is attenuated. So, alpha is your attenuation constant and beta is propagation constant. If alpha is 0, the whole wave will be transmitted. If beta is 0, the whole wave will be attenuated. So, this is your instantaneous expression for voltage. These are the references for today's lectures. That's all for today. Thank you.